The Big Lerf Podcast, talking LRF and more. Hello and welcome to the Big Lerf Podcast. My name is Ben Bassett. I'm here with Sola.
Hi, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, not too bad.
Good, good. And we sort of find each other. It's been a little while since we've recorded a pod again, but we're doing okay on that. I think a bit more regular than we have been.
Yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction with that, aren't we?
Yeah, continuing. We're fighting a good fight. And yeah, so this one was just basically like a bit of a roundup of the Winter League. We haven't had an opportunity to do that yet.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll also talk some metal stuff at the end as well, round it up in different ways. Is that all right?
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds like a plan, mate.
Excellent. So obviously Winter League. This is it's been as we sort of said in the previous pods, really tough winter.
Yes. Yeah, brutal weather-wise, hasn't it? It's just made things really difficult for everyone to get out there.
Yeah, toughest one so far, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's in agreement with that.
Definitely. And so obviously you saw that a little bit in the sort of participation, I think, of the Winter League. It was definitely down on previous years.
Yeah, numbers were down a little bit, understandably, but still we had well over 100 people get involved. So, you know, that's decent numbers still, isn't it? You know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and again, it's honestly the hardest time of the year as well. Like, you know, there was numerous times where I was just not even remotely inspired. So fair play to anybody who is getting out in that sort of weather.
Yeah, totally agree. Fair play to everyone who got out there.
Yeah. So what do you want to do first? Do you want to go into the winners? Do you want to go into the stats? What are we going to do first?
Should we go into the winners first?
Yeah, let's do the winners. Yeah, let's do the winners because they've done incredibly well.
Yeah. So, by the way, I believe it was 117 people managed to register a catch of some sort. So,
well done to the 117 people.
Yeah. I guess Premier League's where we'll start then.
Yeah. So we had, as just a reminder, 2 different leagues this time in freshwater and saltwater to try and give the people who were maybe not able to really go crazy on the species hunting an opportunity to win. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, sort of. Our league tends to be dominated by the same faces, doesn't it? Each winter, fair play to them. But this just gives the other guys a little something to go at, doesn't it? That having a championship as well as a Premier League. Yeah,
and I'm so glad we did that because I think we would have had even probably some less participation if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, that's it. You got to. We do our best, don't we, to keep it interesting? And I think it works.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you want to start with the championship?
We'll go with the championship, yeah, okay. So
that's the second league, to clarify.
Yes. Yeah, so these are the guys that haven't finished in a top 5 placing over the previous winter leagues that we've done, basically.
Exactly.
Are we going to run from, third upwards? Should we go?
Third upwards? Yeah, do it.
So, yeah, Chris Hunter came third with 24 species.
Nice one. 24, nice.
Yeah, Chris was sort of slogging it out right to the end as well, wasn't he? He's travelled around a bit.
Yeah, he's quite an entertaining character as well, and his posts always have a bit of a laugh. I think, wasn't it that he thought he caught a poor cod, but it was actually a pout, and he was just absolutely devastated.
Yeah, the old poor cod pout dilemma.
Oh, awful.
Yeah. Dave Taylor came second with 30 species.
Yep.
So again, he was plugging away all winter, wasn't he? Had caught some fairly unusual stuff along the way.
Yeah, and very unusual stuff.
Yeah, and he was head to head with Ruben, our adventure winner, on 32 species all the way through the winter until sort of last week or so, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a really good battle, that I thought.
Yeah, the Cornish boys battling it out.
Yeah, that was good. Obviously, they're both in a very good position, being sort of close on that Cornish south coast, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. There's plenty to go out down there and there. So
yeah, even though speaking to the guys, particularly I actually saw Ruben the other night, and he was sort of saying how awful the conditions were, particularly in his hometown of Foy. Just awful the whole winter, just really brown river the entire time.
Yeah. I think that was a good example of I think he buddied up with Lucas quite a bit, didn't he? Sort of that sort of social side, making it that little bit more sort of appealing to get out and give it a go, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely helps. We always see that sort of dynamic happen in the Winter League where you have these sort of buddies and they do sort of both push each other on a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite things about the Winter League, I think, seeing those sort of those friendships and groups sort of getting out there and giving it a go, you know.
Yeah, and actually, because I bumped into Lucas and Ruben the other night bass fishing, and the banter between them was really good. You know, there was a lot of you could tell they'd been fishing together hard over the winter. There was a lot of stories being told and a lot of back and forth, and who's caught the biggest fish, who's caught the most fish, all that sort of stuff. And it was just really good. And
nice.
So well done to Ruben, well done to Dave, well done to Chris.
Yeah, good stuff. Well done, guys. Right, should we do freshwater, or do we want to move up to Premier League into salt?
Let's do Premier League salt, I think.
Okay, so Lucas, speak of the devil, he was third with 42 species.
And almost all but one or all but two on unscented, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he stuck almost exclusively to the unscented through the winter, didn't he?
Which is just remarkable. And we talk about, obviously, when we say unscented, we're not talking truly unscented, but we're saying no isom, no gulp, no basically aqua baits of any kind, anything that sort of needs to be kept in water to like stay useful, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the line we've sort of drawn, isn't it? It's it's whatever line you draw, it's hard to draw it in the right place, isn't it? But it seems like the right place to do it, you know.
I think Lucas definitely kept with the spirit of that. I think there was only one fish we had to disallow because of like being like a tiny speck of the union stick, whatever they're called.
He used a little bit of leg, didn't he? I can't remember what he caught. Something tiny, obviously, and a stone loach potentially. But yeah, I mean, everything else was didn't even question it. It was spot on, wasn't it? He did a good job of it.
Incredibly well. So yeah, well done, Lucas. It's just a ridiculous achievement in such an awful winter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, mate. Al Mundy was second with 45 species.
Did a lot of miles.
Covered a lot of ground.
And he got the most King of the North species as well. He did. And well, fair play to him. But obviously, we always say it's the person who finishes outside of the top three.
Yes.
Who wins that? So, King enough, but fair play to him. That's an incredible achievement. He did really well.
Yeah, great going. And Paul Eggington won with an amazing 50 species.
Just ridiculous.
Absolutely smashed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was trying to think if I know Will's done 50 species. We might have seen it once before, but probably the first time in the shortened format, is it?
It's got to be, yeah. In 3 months, 50 species in that winter as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously I know Paul travels, like, he's like Al, like Lucas and Ruben as well. Like, they really do travel, you know, and it's, and that obviously will always give you those extra species if you're willing to go the extra miles, of course. But fair play. I mean, it's also, you've got to put the right lures in the right places, you know, and really stick out in horrible weather. So fair play to him. He must have a very understanding partner, wife, whoever he's with, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But well, I mean, we know the sort of work he puts into sort of researching his species and locations. That it's not an easy earned 50 species, is it? So fair play to him.
Not at all. Yeah, but definitely. Well, the first winner of the Premier League as it's been sort of set out. So well done, Paul.
Yeah, well done, mate. Great effort. Right, we'll go Championship Freshwater next, yeah?
Yes.
So Bill Seeger was third with 10 species.
Nice. Good old Bill.
Yeah, it's always good to hear from Bill, isn't it?
Yeah, I always enjoy Bill's content and stuff. He's always got kind of like he's almost like a mix of like new school and old school with his techniques.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he fishes in an area which I've got a real affection for, having spent a few years living there. That sort of area of like East Anglia. I just love that area, the Fens. Just a really interesting, very rich, species-rich area of the of freshwater. I would love to get back up with the knowledge that I have now, but well done, Bill. Really enjoy your content. Yeah, great stuff. Conrad Peterson was second with 11 species. Yeah, well done, Conrad. Great. Yeah, fair play. That's a couple of sort of new faces up the top there, wasn't it? Well, exactly. That's what we really wanted to see there, didn't we? Yeah. So it's nice to see I think Conrad was quite surprised, wasn't he? Like he sort of said that he didn't realise that he'd actually managed to get second.
Yeah, so that's nice, isn't it? Sort of effort was rewarded. And Josh Mount came out on top with 12 species to take first place.
And I'm thinking I'm right in saying that most of those were unscented. I think almost all of them were.
Looking at that, 11 out of 12 were unscented. So
yeah,
hats off to Josh.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, like we've talked about, there's kind of not really a need always to do like ISOM or gulp in the in freshwater, because obviously a lot of it's about presentation in the fall.
Yeah,
but that's really, really good effort in that, again, horrible winter.
Yeah. No, fair play to you, Josh.
Yeah, he wasn't just sticking out a bit of ice on the bottom, was he?
No, he was creative. I think he caught on quite a variety of lures, didn't he? So that's always nice to see. Yeah. So well done, Josh.
Yeah, first winner of the championship as well, so that's good.
Yeah, love to see that. Freshwater Premier League. So Paul Eggington was actually third with 14 species. Pipped Lucas. He was
well done to him.
Yes.
Yeah, again, that's Paul just being an absolute machine, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Like a combined 64 species. That's some going, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing. Like, most people won't get that in a couple of years.
No, that was a fair point. Yeah, to do that in 3 months of the worst winter we've seen is it's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the obviously the Premier League for freshwater is a little bit like, I think a few people who have won it in the past didn't really take part this year, did they? And like, obviously, I know Donny.
Donny.
Yeah, there's a few others, Matt Drake as well, who didn't take part. So there's a few who would have done quite well, but they just obviously didn't take part this year. So
yeah, that's true. We haven't seen Matt Barnsley.
Oh, that's
for a
true.
couple of years, have we? So
yeah, so like, there's definitely a few of the sort of be interested to see in the next year who takes part, and obviously it could be wide open. Really,
could be. Yeah. Lee Clifton was second with 15 species.
Well done, Lee. Yeah, great effort.
And then Lee had a couple of frustrating sort of road trips as well, didn't he, in search of certain species where, again, the weather was not in his favour at all.
Apparently so, yeah. I think obviously, God, it's a horrible feeling when you do all those miles for absolutely nothing, or you expect them to be there and they're not.
Yeah, I think he got to one place and they'd shut for a few hours or whatever, which is a bit of a killer when he'd driven God knows how far. But 15 species still a great achievement. But our winner was Max Goodwin, who had 24 species. So smashed it, basically.
Yeah, it was good to see Max the other day, actually, at our event.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, he's just such a nice, humble guy, isn't he?
He is.
Actually, it's the same as Lee, to be fair. And we saw Lee; he was good fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a great winner and deserved winner of the Premier League for the first time in the freshwater.
Very worthy winner. I mean, he actually caught every species that was registered in freshwater for the so
fair play to him.
A comprehensive victory, I think you'd call that, can't you?
Yeah, he's really got his freshwater and microfishing down to a T, hasn't he? He just really knows.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nice one, Max.
Well done, Max. So next,
let's go juniors.
Juniors, of course. So this was at the top 6 for the juniors.
Top 6, yes. We had a good number of juniors take part. I think we're 1, 2, 3.
Because definitely, of all the sort of winners, if you think about it from a junior perspective, like obviously a lot of them this time is like getting your kid out, just come with you.
Yeah.
And then like you obviously have that with Daisy, right?
Yeah.
But it's so hard to motivate them when obviously or to motivate even yourself when the weather's bad.
Well, that's what the juniors are sort of relying on motivating themselves and likely whoever's going to take them out to go fishing, aren't they? So it's
exactly, yeah,
a challenge, and kids tend to be busy as well, don't they? So to squeeze in the fishing amongst everything else, is always a challenge.
Definitely, yeah. And we're always really amazed and grateful for the commitment from these juniors.
Yeah, definitely. We love to see them taking part, don't we?
Definitely.
So sixth place was Joseph Henwood Howe with 8 species.
Down, Joseph.
I think was he a new entrant?
I'm gonna obviously, I'll be sorry if he has done it before, but it's definitely a name that I don't immediately remember placing before. So
yeah.
So well done to him.
Yeah. Fifth was Corwin Yates with 9 species.
Yeah, up in north of Scotland.
Yeah, all the way up there. Still manages to pick out the species, and I mean, they really did suffer this winter, didn't they? I think.
Oh, awful, just awful. Yeah, I think looking at some of those like photos with the harbour's just getting absolutely battered. It's amazing that any fish are there.
Yeah, it looks like they completely got smashed up there, didn't they? Roscoe Dolbo was 4th with 12 species.
Good old Roscoe. When he messaged me and said he was like, "Oh, I'm still a junior," I couldn't believe it. He's been with us for such a long time.
Yeah, he's one of our long-standing juniors, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's only like 17 still. It's just mad.
Well, another year in the juniors yet then.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah. Tyler Park was 3rd with 16 species, which is brilliant.
Yeah, again, another one who's been with us for a long time, but is still so young.
Yeah, I think he's a fair bit younger than the other guys, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously his dad is so good for the commitment of bringing him around and those two fishing together. I just love to see it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're always good value whenever we see them.
Yes, absolutely. Just messed up my sheet there. Aaron Bovey was 2nd.
John Aaron?
Just 2nd with 28 species.
Yeah.
Obviously, he tied with Will Birch on 28. Obviously, with our system of species rarity, sort of deciding any ties, Will just came out on top, didn't he?
He did. So, and he actually, because Will got so many rare species, that was actually quite a big margin that he won by. Yeah, I think just to explain that, so every fish ends up with a score because of how many anglers caught it. So, I don't know, if you'll obviously have the figures in front of you, but the like a rock go be worth like 60 points or something like that, and a top knot be worth like 2 or 3, depends on how many anglers caught it.
Yeah. We had 7 top knots this winter.
Oh, 7. Okay, yeah. So a top knot is worth 7 points. So obviously, if you caught more of the species that less people have caught, then you will win in those things, because we add up, and whoever gets the lowest score wins.
Yeah. So
it's quite fun totaling that up actually and seeing the difference.
Yeah. It was quite nice to do that at the end, isn't it?
Because we can't exactly do a golden fish off for a winter league.
Sadly, not as much as I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Will Birch yet again won the juniors.
I mean, perennial champion, isn't he? He's just an absolute. Yeah, he's a god amongst junior lurfers.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was pretty busy this winter as well, like doing other comps and a lot of freshwater stuff.
I mean, he's a committed angler these days. He reads like specimen angling as well. He's not always. He's doing everything.
Yeah,
I think that's again. He's just got he's got a great family around him, very supportive, and he's just committed. He loves angling, doesn't he? So fair play to him.
Yeah, fair play.
I think he's just shows what you can do, a bit of commitment and a great support base around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Commiserations
and skill, obviously, and skill.
Yeah, very skilled angler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just commiserations to Aaron for not managing to find that gold cine.
Yeah, we said we'd give him a bit of a ripping on the pod about this, because where Aaron lives is in Brixton, basically. Very close anyway. And yeah, that is like gold cine. You would bet your life that you're going to get one over the winter, wouldn't you?
It's where I'd probably go for a gold cine, yeah.
Yeah, bless him. Yeah, Aaron's a really good lad, really good angler. And but just somehow he managed to avoid one all winter, which is just bonkers. Yeah,
it reminds me back when another great angler, Josh Fletcher, couldn't catch a pouting during the winter. Sometimes those species just do us over, don't they?
He stuck to Cornwall, didn't he? The entire winter, refused to leave Cornwall. And and if he'd come to Plymouth, he probably would have got a pout immediately.
Yes.
But couldn't get one. That was a great story. That was good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just amazing. These like really, really good anglers, but can't pick up. I mean, we all know what it's like when you're fishing a competition and you just think, oh yeah, I'll definitely pick one up. It'll just happen, Yeah. And then it just doesn't.
They don't. They do us over, don't they?
Yeah. Strange game, this fishing.
And it just... Right, we'll go to our subcategories now, shall we?
Yes, please.
So our 3 longest flounder competition was won by Bill Bradley.
Of course.
With a total of 130 centimetres.
Yeah, with the flounder master.
Flounder master indeed, yeah.
Yeah, that man knows how to sight fish a flounder, right, doesn't he?
Doesn't he just?
Yeah, and always on he's always catching on really cool lures. It's like I always feel like a bit of a fraud with that sort of stuff. I feel like I'm relatively well known for my flounder fishing because I talk about it a lot. But like, yeah, he's catching on lures that I wouldn't even dream to use. Like Ned rigs and completely plastic, like the canned sandworms and those
Headless
hoppers.
hoppers, yeah.
Headless hoppers. Like he's just. Obviously he knows his marks really well. He knows his marina that he fishes. He knows the fish and what he's doing, and he's willing to put the hours in, which is the most important thing. But man, what a skill. Fantastic. And he's caught some absolute monsters.
He has, yeah, some serious flounder, hasn't he?
So what was the length of flounder that he got?
130 in total, so averaging over 40s, aren't they?
Yeah, that's big fishes, aren't they?
Yeah.
And he caught us, and to be fair to him, he was quite honest as well. Like he caught the same fish twice, I think. And
yes.
he was,
yeah,
and he sort of let us know, and I think that was very good of him.
Yeah, because we didn't notice, did we? And
it's hard to
tell.
so. They're not the most distinctively marked fish, are they, flounder?
No. So yeah, fair play to Bill. He probably could have won it twice over, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Well done to him. Three longest flounder was won by Charlie Capolo with 124 centimetres.
Three longest perch.
What did I just say? Flounder again?
Flounder again, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Three longest perch was won by Charlie Capolo with 124 centimetres.
Well done, Charlie.
Yeah.
God, I feel like he fished... didn't he just fish for a very short while, get those three, and then that was it?
Yeah, literally. I think he did. He might have done those all in one session.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's a very well-known and very good big perch angler. He's obviously been on lure battle and things like that, so fair play to him.
Yeah. He won that quite easily. I think he had 20 centimetres to spare.
That's amazing.
Place. Yeah. So nice one, Charlie. King of the North, as we said before, Al Mundy caught 7, which topped the chart there, but because he'd already won the prize in the Premier League saltwater, it went to the next, who was Bill Bradley, who caught 6 species.
Yep. So obviously he lives in the north as well, so it's nice and fitting. So but I think Bill won it last year, or was that? I think he did.
I'm trying to think. I think
we've had Peter Chapman, because the previous winners, Andrew Saywright got it 1 year.
Yeah.
Peter Chapman's got it 1 year, and Bill's got it 1 year. I don't know if they got it 2 years. How long have we been doing this? 4 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Bill's got it twice. So I'm sure that's the case. But yeah. Either way, fully deserved. Great angler. Yeah,
and there's kind of a cool list of species to win that, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah, and not easy, again, with the conditions that we've had. I think, even things like cod have been quite thin on the ground.
Yeah, they have.
So you can obviously, I think that's, the next one is unscented, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah. Paul Eggington also got 6, by the way, but again, he was a prize winner in the other category. But.
Oh, well done, Paul, yeah. I guess the thing is, when these guys are travelling, they've always got a chance of bumping into those species, haven't they? That's the reason they're going up north.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, unscented was won by Lucas with 53 species.
Wow.
Yeah, just unreal. Just to put that into context, the next highest was Paul on 13 species.
Yeah.
So 40 fish.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I think, I think if I set myself a challenge this year to catch 53 species on unscented, obviously I backed myself to be able to do it, but it would take so much effort, Yes. It would be a monumental effort to do that. Even over a whole year, and to do it over 3 months. I know, Lucas does live and breathe fishing, obviously, and he's an absolutely remarkable angler, far better than I am. But it's just that's incredible.
Just mind blowing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just amazing what these guys can do when they put their mind to it.
Yeah, it does go to show what is possible on unscented, doesn't it? I know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point why we do it, isn't it? I know it's obviously, yes, Lucas is otherworldly at times, but he is showing that it definitely can be done. I think there is, even in murky water, even in things, it's a lot of it's about presentation, a lot of it's about how you are, getting that lure to the fish, etc. Sight fishing is obviously a big element as well. But gosh, he's just epic.
He is amazing.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah, and that wraps that up.
So well done to all our winners. That's incredible.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah, like I said, I think this year came with an added edge of like difficulty. I think, to anybody who took part, it was just well done for getting out and taking part with us, and and just joining us again for another year.
Yeah, nice one, guys. Great effort.
Really, really good. And you're going to run down some of those stats. I think it's worth talking about the sort of probably the most common and the least common fish. Would that be?
Yeah, I won't go bore everyone
through every single one. No, we did share the post, so you can find it.
Yes, we did share it if you want to pick your way through all the species. But the most caught species was rock goby. 66 of those registered.
66. Yeah, God. Yeah. All from Sutton Harbour. It's too bad. Yeah. Rock gobies basically have been my staple. I've built so many rock gobies this year in comparison to anything else. They're doing fine.
They're doing all right in Sutton, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing absolutely fine. And also other places like the rock pools we were fishing in Brixton the other day. Two rock gobies put their heads out. Decent size, to be fair, for a rock pool, but I just can't escape them. I haven't caught a shanny this year yet. But
You're not?
No.
They'll come, won't they? They'll come.
He'll definitely come, yeah.
Next was pollock with 60. Not a surprise there, really.
No, that's always, absolute stalwart of the Winter League.
Yeah. Black gobies, 56.
Yeah.
Common blennies, 51. And this one surprised me a bit because we'd been talking about them, but 46 long spine sea scorpions.
That's good, isn't it? That's sort of, it makes you feel good about the long spine's chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about them being obviously a rarity at times, but plenty of anglers have caught them. Yeah,
so that's good to see, isn't it? I think we sort of agreed that, if you fish through the winter, you are likely to stumble across one or two, aren't you?
There's sort of a fish that as long as you've got your line in the water, there's a good chance of one jumping on at some point.
Yeah, but we love to see them, don't we?
Yeah, and more of them. I've still yet to catch one this year. I'm determined to catch one soon, but I don't know when.
Amen to that. I don't know if I have yet, actually. Should we go down the other end of the board?
Let's go to the rarities.
Okay, so there's 7 there was one caught of. First one, it always surprises me this, but I guess it goes to show you how much of a sort of summer autumn species they are. But tub gurnard, 1.
Yeah, that's unusual because tubs were we've had, certainly in Plymouth anyway, in December, we've had a couple of really good runs of tubs.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite strange. I think possibly the amount of fresh water that's gone into the around the coast, they're not a fish you often find too far up the estuary.
No.
Yeah,
they're probably quite a visual feeder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the whole thing is kind of off. If I'm a tub gurnard, I'm definitely going off into sort of deeper, saltier, and clearer water.
Yeah. Black-faced blennies, 1.
Ruben was telling me about that. Just saying he basically we thought he was going to go for like a leopard spot goby, and pulled that out. First, I think it was the only fish he got that day. I think.
Oh, madness, isn't it?
And it was like he completely just blind fished out, just got lucky and just pulled this black-faced blenny out, which is, obviously we've seen more caught over the last 12 months than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
But it's still, in depths of winter, it's remarkable that fish is feeding.
Yeah, that was quite late in the winter as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Horrible conditions have been.
Yeah.
Just goes to show they're always there.
Crazy. 1 butterfish, which I think quite surprising, really.
Yeah, I think quite often the northern guys often pick up a few, don't they?
Yeah. I guess the northern guys probably struggled a bit more this year, didn't they?
Yeah.
1 Portuguese blenny. That was a nice.
That was a new one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Early winter one.
Yeah, that was. Oh God, they're an amazing fish. That's a brand new one for our for the Winter League, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. That was quite early on.
I mean, how do you describe a Portuguese blenny to people who don't know what that is?
To me, they're like a tom pot with like the contrast turned up. a bit of saturation.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, saturated tom pot, less stripe, less like hard sort of stripes, more like kind of almost like a little bit ringnecky markings. But not quite. And they've got this sort of like dark spot on their dorsal fin, which is quite a distinctive feature. But they are bright red. They're pretty. There's no really doubt when you see one.
No, we'd love to see them over here, wouldn't we?
But they are, they're very tom potty. I think, for some reason in Ireland there just seems to be a resident population of them. Yeah,
those and the redmouth gobies, isn't it?
Yes,
we saw 3 of actually.
Well done to those guys for getting them.
Yeah, ringneck blennies one.
Only one.
Yeah.
Again, they're kind of like we see quite a few and then we don't. They're strange.
Yeah, a bit patchy, aren't they? One's Corbin's sand eel, which is quite surprising.
That's a big surprise. Yeah. I think that shows how rough it was, because if you get any sort of calm waters in the winter, you normally pick up a few Corbins off some of the deep water marks, sandy marks.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so that's quite unusual. I left the best one to last, the transparent goby, one of those.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, that is just, I think we talked about it before, but that is an absolute unicorn. Weirdly, I was speaking to, again, I'm bringing up Lucas and Ruben again because it's the most recent thing in my mind, but Lucas was fishing the other night. Has he told you this? He came across one?
No.
Or a shoal of them? And he said he couldn't quite work out what he was, so he netted them out, and he put it in the tank. He filmed it, and it's definitely a transparent goby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said it was up in the water, and they were like chasing, it was like moving around a bit like on a small herring or 2 spots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So right up in the water at night, it was.
Very interesting.
Very interesting, very small, and very difficult to. Yeah, they are. I mean, I can't see many of us really like rushing out to try and catch a transparent goby, but like for the true species nuts, that is a unicorn. Absolutely,
yeah. So fair play to. I'm trying to think of the name of the chap that caught it. Bill Newman.
Bill. Well, Bill.
Fair play to Bill.
Yeah, it's that's. I think it was like his first fish. It was. Yeah, it was like, wasn't it like the first fish registered of the Winter League?
I feel like it was. Yeah. Yeah. Or a mad start.
Yeah, God, that was you just never know what's going to happen, but that was a great start. So yeah, just like we said, amazing results considering the terrible conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, guys.
Yeah, well done, guys. So I think we'll wrap up that. I think everyone should have their sort of trophies and prizes and stuff by now, hopefully. If you haven't received anything and you obviously listen to this, please, or you haven't received something that you were expecting, please get in touch with us, let us know. But I'm pretty sure everyone's got their stuff.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Hopefully, yeah. So, I thought we'd just briefly talk in our sort of next section really about recent sessions, and then we can just have a little chat about some metal lures at the end of this pod, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So, I might as well just talk about the session I had with most recently, which I saw literally on Friday night, actually, as I'm recording this on the Monday. Yeah. So I went down to Cornwall, and it was a really huge tide. As you say, I always comment on the big tides, but this one was particularly massive. It was a new moon, so it was like, I'm not used to quite seeing it quite so high as that, and it was obviously very difficult fishing. I should have just come a bit later or gone somewhere else, I think, during that part, because it was very. It was almost pointless. There was so much water, and I couldn't and I couldn't really get anything to take, and it was a bit like, obviously it's cold, and it was clear, to be fair to him, but like it was just a bit of a difficult. Yeah, it was tricky for a while, but eventually it started to drop, and obviously it was dropping fast, and so I started getting quite a bit of a bit of water like dropping down in front of me, and started picked out pollock, obviously, sand smelt. And then I was really kind of hoping for some bass. That was kind of, something to give me a bit of a pull,
Yeah.
And I was fishing, we got given a load of bait breath samples by Tackle Wave.
Yes.
I was fishing I do this all the time where I forget the name of the lure. But anyway, when they come out, I'll talk about them more. But there's this little like adgy style prawn. and it's about 1.8 inches, I think. So
Yeah.
it's perfect. It's really skinny, perfect little lure. And I was just flicking that over the sand, and I got a lovely little tap, and it was a reasonable sized bass on the ester line. It wasn't like massive. It was only about 35 maybe centimeters if I was.
Nice. That'll do.
Yeah, but
won't
good
it?
fun. Yeah, exactly. It's just nice to have something that proper pulled back,
Yeah.
and a smaller one followed that up with. So I lost that lure. It just came off. I couldn't find it anymore, which was really annoying. So I was basically then just switched over to Shirazu, and I was picking up the occasional little bass just off the bottom. They were really hyper focused. This might be of use to somebody, but they were very hyper focused on picking stuff off the bottom. Like when Ruben and Lucas turned up, they were fishing quite big lures at first, not really getting much, but as soon as they switched over the smaller lures bumping on the bottom, they were catching the bass.
Oh, nice. Interesting stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this time of year when there's not a huge amount of like sand deal action, as we're just waiting for it to sort of kick off, I think the bass are they're looking for the prawns, they're looking for the flatfish, anything that's kind of on the bottom. There's a lot, obviously when it's low tide, using your head torch, you can really see all the little prawns, all the little gobies and stuff. And you can see why they're focused on the bottom.
Yeah, I guess that ties into the guys that are smashing the bigger fish on crayfish and creature baits, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably worth talking about that, to be fair. So, seeing the guys catching the gilts as well on these sort of the crayfish, crawfish sort of imitations. We always said it could happen, didn't we?
Yeah.
But to see it with quite reasonable regularity, I think is really impressive. It's all happening in Cornwall, obviously, where things are a bit warmer, bigger population of gillheads, but it's still very, very impressive.
It is, yeah. They were obviously cracking the code on that, aren't they, and getting some good results.
But I think we always said, presenting a crab style lure on the bottom in an estuary, there are basically the majority of bass, gilts, flounder even are going up there for those prey items.
Yes, true, yeah.
So, it's not a surprise that they eventually do take it, but it's the fact they're making them stick and they're catching them fairly regular in March is the most impressive thing.
Yeah.
So,
that says a lot, doesn't it? It's a tough old time.
So well done to anybody who's catching them as technically bycatch, but I think more and more people know that they are a target that can actually be really worked out now.
Yeah, it's quite exciting stuff, isn't it? I expect we'll see plenty more of that.
We definitely will. Yeah, and I think you'll see a few more of the other bream as well coming out at the same time. I think you'll see some good couches coming out, and look very likely the reds as well. Yeah,
let's hope so.
Yeah,
look forward to that.
Yeah, oh god, sounds feels very far away at the moment, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, God, but yeah, definitely that was really impressive. So I think basically it looks like the bass at the moment definitely got their heads down. I think the opposite to the top water action. You kind of need to get right down the bottom and bump it.
Yeah, so, interesting.
And so it's good seeing Ruben and Lucas and just chatting big Lerf stuff with them as well, and LRF.
Nice.
And they'll be obviously going for some bigger stuff as well, so they're always good value. So that was good.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about you?
I kind of focused on the freshwater. I'd say I've only had a few short sessions, but
keep
a little bit on the canal. Yes, hoping to sort of start venturing further afield soon. But standard sessions on the canal, scratching out perch and the odd pike as bycatch.
Yep.
Water's still quite murky, which makes it a bit harder, doesn't it?
You got a nice video of the pike spawning, didn't you?
Yeah, that was interesting. It was one of those where obviously I sent it to you, didn't I? I could see there was some sort of fish action going on the far bank.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got home and sort of was able to zoom in a bit and see that you could quite clearly see what I assume was male pike sort of sparring a bit, weren't they? And
they weren't big pike, were they? But
no.
But they were definitely pushing each other off, clearly.
Yeah.
There must have been a bigger female somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. That was quite interesting. It was actually caught a couple of small pike that were really focused on tiny little lures. I was fishing, a shirasu shrimp on a sort of initially a 0.2 jig head.
Yeah.
Looking for silvers or, maybe a perch. But it was the pike initially were almost a pest, really.
I wonder if that's because maybe they're focused on insects. You know, like
Yeah.
if you think about it, this time of year, there isn't a lot of like tiny fry around, but there's quite a lot of emerging insects.
This is true, yeah. They
So
feed into those, perhaps.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just picking those off as they sort of come up because, I know that. I remember Jack Perks had a video of a really big pike taking like a mayfly emerger or something like that. It was like it didn't look right, but I think if they'll take anything they can get their mouth over, can't they?
Yeah, this is very true, and they're so sort of instinctive, aren't they? If you sort of twitch something past their nose, when they're in that sort of frame of mind, they'll have it, won't they?
Yeah, and like we said, the little ones are just suicidal at times.
Yeah, they really are. So that was interesting. I had a little session on the river before the course season closed. I had a bit of a stinker, scratched out a minnow, and accidentally caught a brownie whilst I was looking for anything, really.
Yep.
And then I did actually go after trout last week, or a few days ago, actually. It's usually pretty productive wading the river, for chucking little soft plastics around. But again, water was quite dirty. Missed quite a few. And I only caught the one, but it's not always nice to wade up the river, especially with the weather we're having at the moment. It's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's sort of like nice feeling of being sort of proper back in nature again, I think.
Yeah.
Everything's sort of starting to grow around you and stuff. I've definitely been feeling a lot sort of happier, just seeing a few buds on the trees opening, it just feels better.
Yeah, well, I said that to Claire earlier, actually. You can see the green is on its way, isn't it? Everything coming to life sort of thing.
And it always feels like, I don't know, it feels like it only takes like a week or something and just everything's green,
It just explodes,
Yeah, it's lovely. Just so nice. And like, obviously it tends to coincide with the river season closing, but like we've said, we've had some really good on the coast, some April sessions that I'm really looking forward to trying to replicate.
God, yeah. I'm really looking forward to that. So,
I'm really looking forward to getting out there and trying to, get a few different species because that April run has been really good to us. So I'm hoping that we can replicate that.
It has. We've got quite high standards for our April sessions, haven't we?
Indeed. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking we haven't really talked about our event that we sort of took part in on, last Saturday.
Oh yes, the open day. Yeah.
It's open day. That was I think we briefly mentioned it before, but it's an open day with Weymouth Angling Society. They invited us to take part in their open day, basically to get new members. I think they do every year, or maybe it's a new thing. I'm not so sure, but first time we've been invited, and it was good, really good. We got a lot of interest, I think.
Yeah, we had a sort of steady stream of people coming to see what we're all about, didn't we? And had some interesting chats. Yeah,
it's good. A few people who, most people kind of knew what LRF was, but a lot of people, some didn't. And there was good to see a few, faces who we've only really sort of seen through social media as well.
Yeah, it's always nice to sort of put
I think Aidan and Chris, were the two that I've not met before, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe if I have met, it's been very small, not had a chat with them before, so that was good. Yeah,
it's nice. I quite enjoyed talking to some of the guys that sort of bait fish and fish a bit heavier, like they're sort of blown away by how fine the rods we use actually are. When you get them in your hand, aren't they?
Yes, I think a lot of people who are cast, obviously, 6, probably 3 to 6 ounces, basically with regularity, just cannot believe fishing with that light in the sea. Are we? It's amazing.
Yeah, and the fish that we catch with them, But I think for a couple, it's a bit of an eye opener to they can be really useful species hunting tools, can't they? To add to their sort of their bait list almost.
Yeah, and like we said, obviously a lot of people use them with bait. It's quite an easy thing to do if you're not averse to bait. Obviously like we are. It's very, very useful. But ideally if you want to buy it through the Big Lerf tackle shop, that'd be great though.
Yeah.
And there was obviously lots of other stuff going on as well. Not just we weren't the only show. We obviously had there was the Women's Institute had their cakes, didn't they?
Oh, good cakes, man, weren't they? Really good.
Yeah, great cakes. Yeah, I mean that was just perfect for that kind of day, wasn't it? It was a lot of standing around. You needed your cakes.
Yeah. Need to keep the energy levels up, and that was the perfect way to do it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was really good. Yeah, really nice. It's just a really good atmosphere. And I also bought one of their t-shirts because I love their logo, the Angler Society with the bream on it, and it's light blue. Nice. So yeah, good for me.
Yeah, right up your street.
Exactly. So yeah, I bought one of those. I'm looking forward to getting that at some point. And then obviously we sort of finished with that. Maggot racing. We did maggot racing. That's never done that before.
That was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
It was, yes. They had like a setup. This is to some of the course fishing lakes. I forget the actual name of who it was. Was it Dorchester or something like that? I think it was something like that. One of their angling clubs basically had this setup, and it's like got a load of sort of grooves, and it's all set up like a 100-meter race, and you basically take your maggot, put it in there, and it just crawls all the way to the end. And I thought it was gonna be like a tight race, but mine was red and an absolute slacker.
Yeah, mine walked it, didn't it? I mean,
yeah,
I think it was all in the selection. He could tell he had a bit of fire in him. So.
Yeah, I can see that you've got an eye for this. Yeah. I was obviously I went for the flashy red one, and you just went for the prime maggot,
prime athlete. He was
an athlete, yes. He was athletic.
Yeah.
So that was a funny thing. A person I work with was absolutely mind blown that there are different coloured maggots and couldn't understand why. And that was obviously I had to explain to her what that was, and she was like, "Why is that? Why are they different colours?" So it's just dye.
I guess that is an odd thing to the non-angler, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's something that's like so intrinsic to all of us who grew up course fishing or doing anything like red maggots. Of course, you always get red maggots, or yellow maggots. I was like, you can have blue maggots. It's whatever they put the dye in the chicken that's feeding them,
Yeah,
good old maggots. But it's been a long time since I've held a maggot, actually, considering.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they you won by a clear margin, so that was good. And then we went fishing afterwards.
We did. It was a nice little bonus session, actually, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It wasn't prolific by any means, but it was definitely very, very meaningful to both me and you, and obviously a couple of us who were fishing with. Obviously fishing with Donny, who was good to see him back.
Yes.
We missed him. He's been it's a weird to have a winter league without him.
It is, yeah. It definitely felt like something was missing, didn't it?
Yeah, and he brought back, actually, word to Donny, actually, because he read it, he brought back this, it's like an egg cast Tuffy copy. It's smaller, from like a pound stretcher shop in, it's obviously not pound, the yen stretcher, I guess, in Japan. And it's like, I think it equates to like £4 he bought it for. And you can bend this thing in half. And it's basically going to be my boy's rod when he's obviously got enough interest to use it. Like, it's going to be so much fun for him.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great little colourful thing. It's so cool. It's just a shame we just don't seem to have that sort of access to that kind of stuff, really, at that price. You'd have to go Temu for that sort of price. You never would get it in a shop.
No, that's a dirty word, isn't it, for us?
I know. But yeah, so we so words to Donny for that thing, and he also brought back this mad little lure that I haven't had a chance to use yet, which looks like a little sand eel / smell. I need to try and catch a fish on that. But they were we went up to see them because they were catching what obviously we have never caught before, which is a Couch's goby.
Indeed, yes.
Which is just definitely I don't think we were expecting them to be quite as common. I mean, obviously, we spoke about, they're sort of nationally rare, locally common, I guess, depending on where you are.
Yeah, I guess, again, like the giant goby, sort of exactly the same situation. Nationally rare, but when you find them, they're everywhere, aren't they?
They were, dominant. Yeah. Very dominant. I don't know whether it's the time of year, whether it's just they had a good breeding year, who knows? But they're not the most remarkable looking goby in the world, are they?
No, I think it depends who you talk to, what they think they look like. But I think somewhere between a black and a rock goby, really.
It's definitely like a black and a rock had a baby, and they've definitely got the biggest thing I would say about them is this is the obvious thing, and I think as soon as you see the difference between them and a black goby, it's the head size and the way the body tapers.
Yes, yeah.
Like a black goby has a bigger head and it tapers down towards the tail, whereas a Couch's goby is almost completely straight, including the head, or even tapers down towards the head, like it's got a smaller head.
It's sort of quite un-goby-like almost, isn't it, the way it sort of tapers down
Yeah, and quite a small mouth in comparison, really, to like a black or a not tiny, but like smaller.
Yeah, but despite that, they were the dominant species where we were fishing, weren't they?
Yeah, it was, and like that's the other thing I want to mention was the dorsal, wasn't it? The dorsal. The dorsal is like probably the easiest way to tell, I think, other than the head size, is they look a bit more like a black goby in coloration, but they've got the almost like it's not orange, but it's like a lighter coloured top of their dorsal, isn't it?
It fades out to a lighter colour, but it's
instead of that dark top which you have on a black goby. Yeah,
it sort of reminds sort of almost like a melted rock goby dorsal, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. That's not a bad description. There are other ways, and I think, there's obviously really good species identifiers who have done some really good guides on them. But I probably should update my goby slaying identification on my blog, probably with that.
Yeah, add that one to it, mate.
Yeah, I think it is on there, but they weren't my catches, so yeah, it's good to finally catch that.
Yeah, update it. Yeah,
that's good. So we got there, and I think you got a 2 spot as well, didn't you?
Yes, thanks to Lee for sort of guiding my lure towards it, because I couldn't see really. I could see my lure pinging about a little bit as they do, but he was able to direct me sort of to the fish and tell me when it had fully taken my lure. So I don't know if that counts as a full catch for me, but I'll take it,
I think it does. I mean, I've done enough for you like that over the years, We've never questioned it before. No, but that's good to see. I think they were all hook shy by the time I got around to them, because they were definitely not taking very aggressively for me, but that's fine.
No, you were unlucky there. I think the guys had sort of filled their boots before we arrived as well, hadn't they? So yeah,
I'm sure I'll come across them. It won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So you had that. I think then we went round to another spot and had some sand smelt. Did you get a sand smelt?
I didn't. I couldn't quite. I was lazy, really. I didn't fancy changing from a cheb to a split shot or whatever might have been needed. For it. So I just had a search around the wall and found a shanny and a rock goby. But yeah, it was sort of just a nice social sort of get together there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. It was it was nice just to fish with people, and we had a bit of warmth as well. The sun was out. It was nice, Yeah,
it was pleasant, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was really good. And we sort of finished at a reasonable hour, drove home, and didn't get back too late, which obviously is, quite nice at the moment. So yeah, it was just a really nice day, really positive day.
It was, yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good. So we're. I think we'll sort of have a little. One thing I wanted to see, because I really enjoyed our sort of chat through the other day about soft plastics, and we've obviously got like a few. Obviously less of them, but there's definitely a few on the shop of like metal lures that we probably don't talk about in enough detail, I would say.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to give you a chance just to get that up on the screen, and then we can have a little look at them together.
I would, but my laptop's telling me I can't do that if I'm recording this Zoom meeting.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's boring. Yeah. All right, I'll talk you through them then.
All right.
Okay, so going through our list, I'm obviously just going to go through the ones that we sort of have used and can recommend. I think that'd be the easiest way of doing it. Some of these I would have used probably more than you, I think, because I've got a tendency of buying everything.
Yeah. You like shiny things as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. I'm a sucker for shiny things in my life. So the first one I would say is, let me just put this in alphabetical order, actually. That's what we did last time. Yes, here we go. So the IMA lures. Now, actually, I would say when it comes to IMA lures, with metals, you're probably a little bit more experienced with these than me.
IMA metals?
Yeah, the IMA gun. The IMA gun Kitschy, as it's called.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I actually had a fair bit of success with those.
You have, yeah. So these are pretty regular. I mean, for IMA, they're not the most sort of like eye-catching of lures. They're kind of pretty standard-looking metal jigs, I think. But they've got and they're not crazy expensive either. At $5.99 for 5G, $7.49 7G, which we're out of stock at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But they come with some pretty flashy assists with them, don't they?
They do. If I was going to say anything, I'd probably change out the assists if I was going to be brutally honest. Yes. But when you've done that, they've got a really nice action, quite a wide sort of flutter, if I would say.
Yes.
So a relatively slow fall. I use the zebra glow mostly of these guys, and classic pattern color. But yeah, done pretty well. Obviously there's this mackerel, gurnard, even like whiting and things like that. Was the zebra glow is very effective for. But yeah, they're a nice reliable metal. They're sort of a go-to now for me.
Yeah, and I think they've got that sort of distinctive eye on them, which makes them quite cute looking. And I think they cast well. They're just a really good sort of one to mix it up. I think if you're not using the other ones, different action.
They are, yeah.
And I think there's been quite a few times when like I've been fishing near you or next to you, and you're picking out fish, and I'm like, oh, what are you using? You're using like the I'm a gun. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually amazed. Like it wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it's really cool. One that I've used, I think I'm pretty sure you haven't used, is the Ima Adeli, which is the little spinnerbait, little cute spinnerbaits that we've got.
I haven't. No, I've not used them.
No, I've got a few of those. Now I have used these with quite good success for little bass. I was catching a lot of them. They're one of those ones I need to just get out. I can't wait for the summer. Basically, I got them just as it was sort of getting cold. I really want to get out because they sink quite nice and quickly because they're 4 grams and they're very small. But they've got a real nice flutter with the spinnerbait, and they kind of work best with like being like ripped up and then dropped.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then they've got a little treble on the back. But they're a very, very cute little spinner. I did add them so you can actually change the hook on the back and add it to like a single and put some like a soft plastic on there.
Nice.
But I did find the action on that wasn't quite as good. It's definitely more fun with the just sticking with the treble. Yeah. I would say I would probably stick with the treble on it because I think a single hook you'd end up losing a lot of fish with that. It's not the
that sort of lure. Yeah.
So I definitely would go with that. They are way more expensive though than like the Ima guns. Like they are $10.49. Okay. So they are small and expensive. So
clean ground.
Fish over clean ground. Yeah. Clean ground or deep water,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But definitely for any sort of like, I don't know, anyone like me, any magpies out there, you're going to love that one. They're really good fun. And now we're going into the jig paras. Now, obviously, jig para is the Magecraft range of metals. I mean, can we go through every single one of these? There's so many.
I'll say we just split it into like, obviously, there's the micro and the slim.
Yeah, I think there's the regular and the slim, isn't there? I think
Sorry, like regular and the slim, yeah.
Yeah, which obviously comes in. So they all come in. So not the tungsten ones. They're 10G, 5G, 3G, and there's a 1.5G of the micro slims. I think. They are. I mean, what haven't we caught on these really? Like that you can catch on metals. They are just astonishing.
They are, yeah. Like time and time again, they're the one you go back to if you're not catching. I mean, I'll have sessions where I'm like, I'm not going to use the jig para. Like, I'm going to try other stuff. But I always end up going back to them because they catch fish.
Yeah, they're probably the most copied shape metal jig I would say around as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're made by made for Magecraft, there's just something about them, and they are just, I mean, the assists are really high quality, the trebles that they come with are really high quality, and obviously the right size as well. They're quite often just like the perfect size for those lures.
They're well balanced.
They're very well balanced. They just, and they got, I mean, the regulars have got like a proper flutter, like they really vibrate on the way down, don't they, sort of, as they go down.
Yeah, really nice flutter, and quite sort of deep
the
body.
Slims are more of like a and the slims are more of like a wide sort of like side to side action as they fall.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you prefer the slims more than I do. I'd always tend to go for the regular.
Yes, I think with the slims, I've just had so much success on them. That they are just, for me, they just imitate. They can imitate a sand eel, they imitate a small herring, they imitate a small joey mackerel. I mean, literally anything. They're just I think they're just that perfect profile. But the regulars have been amazing for me. I've got one that's been in service for, I've somehow not lost it for years and years and years. It's like beating up old Zebra Glow 5G, and that's caught me so many garfish.
That's impressive, that is.
Yeah. It's my longest serving, but they are fantastic. And the live colours, we've got to say, are just beautiful as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, spot on, aren't they?
Yeah. So I don't think it's hard to go into detail with those because they are just so well used. And I just think if you haven't already tried them, all I can say is just try them. And I mean, for me, I would pick out, if you're just trying them for the first time, the 7Gs are probably the ones to go for if you're looking for a bit of distance and a bit of like easy fishing, I would think.
Yeah, I'd quite like a 5.
I knew you'd say 5.
A 5, I think, is just, it fits so many situations for me, I think.
Yeah.
7 from the beaches, because you want to get out there a bit, don't you?
Yes.
But 5, also, it just happens to be the sweet spot on my rod, that to go.
Yes.
So it just marries up beautifully, I feel. But yeah, 7s or 5s probably covers pretty much everything, unless you're fishing really close or really micro.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so for me, colours wise, Zebra Glow has to be one of them.
Yeah, agreed.
The pink glow, I forget what it's actually called, but that's been amazing for me over the years.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, any of the live colours, they just look so good.
Agreed. Yeah, I'd go along with that basically.
Yeah. One thing we did find, I remember, obviously Sean, father-in-law, he was fishing with the Adgie, the live Adgie and the Slim when we were fishing over Dawlish, over sand, and he was cleaning up on that. And I think that was to do because it really looked like a sand eel.
Yeah.
So definitely worth looking at that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ones like the micro swims and stuff like that. I've used them. I wouldn't say I'm like an absolutely massive user of them, but they are very useful for garfish and things. Got 2 trebles on.
Yeah.
So they are very easy swim fishing. They just cast and reel in. They're
yeah.
I mean, worth talking about the tungstens because they're kind of like an interesting one, aren't they? Because they're very, very small for that weight, obviously. Tungsten. But they cast like a bullet.
Yeah, they really do.
And I think at first we were like, oh, we're not quite sure because obviously they were, the Savage Gear flatlines obviously have been the king of the tungsten for so long.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah.
But I think there's been a few circumstances where we've really found them useful, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah. Again, being tungsten and that smaller profile, they are really handy for cutting through current, aren't they?
Current and wind. Definitely.
Current and wind. Yeah. I was like when you're fishing off the end of a breakwater, into deep water, there's a lot of tide ripping around the end. They're really valuable for that because there's times obviously when we're using our standard jigs and they're not really getting down, are they?
No.
Before they sort of reach 90 degrees to your left or right or whatever. But yeah, they're good at just cutting through that. You just have to fish them a bit differently, I think, is the key with those.
Yeah, they're not got the same. I mean, I thought they were going to have the same flutter as the regular Jiparas, but they're definitely a different action. They're faster sinking. Yeah. But I think you've had some great success on them. I think a bit more than me, actually, I would say.
Yeah, I think actually one of the first sessions I had with them, I took off Brixham.
Yes.
And was, we had a few samples or whatever, so I was daring to let them, get low in amongst the weed and that. And that's where they were really effective, just letting them swing right in amongst, almost into the boulders and weed, trying to guess the area just above that. And I had sort of, mackerel and pollock and even ballons. And it was, that was a really good start with them. I think it's just another tool, isn't it? Like sometimes they sink too fast. If you were fishing from a beach, they're going down too fast, aren't they? And
yes, you're not going to get the same flutter that you need, really.
Yeah. You need a bit of deep water, maybe where the current's working against you.
I agree.
They hold up a bit better then, but they're definitely very useful.
Yeah, that's yeah, I think we've not talked about them a huge amount, but they are a great lure, and also for tungsten, not that expensive. Like I mean, the most expensive one is the 7G, and that's $7.99.
Yeah, that's very decent.
But like jig para, the 3G is $6.49, so that's pretty reasonable considering that the regular jig para is a $5.99.
Yeah,
$7.49 for 7. It's actually you're not that far off different prices really. So I think. Yeah, well worth picking those up.
Yeah.
Before the price of tungsten really rockets, definitely worth picking those up,
Yeah, good point.
Next is Little Jack. Now, how much of Little Jack have you fished with, really?
Not as much as I feel like I'd like to. I've got a couple of the really tiny Little Jack metals.
Yes. That's the Micro Addict, I think.
Yeah. Is it like 1.5 gram?
That's it, yeah.
I've done a little bits on that, but I've always got them in the box, and I always feel like they've got a certain job they'll do for me, but I've not really hit the right moment yet.
I can tell you what my feeling on those are, certainly with the job that they do, because they sink quick. They're real quick sinking for a 1.5G. Because they're very small and thin. They are definitely for when the sort of mackerel, scad, etc. are really focused on the very small targets, but like really want to chase, and everything's like really active, and you're almost like you really want to get like a small lure out there. They're definitely good for that. Like really good.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So not so good for like suspending on the fall or anything like that, but definitely for like quick whipping or like really just trying to get them to chase with a small lure. That's a great little option. Those. And you've got like the asymmetrical body, the micro asymmetrical, which is again such a good little version. It looks like an anchovy, but it's very small, and that is kind of not like a wobbler, more like a retriever and a twitcher.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the difference. But I think the others that I've really used a lot, and I mean, you've done pretty well on the Ignited Blade, haven't you? Did you get the? I think you got Gernard on the Ignited Blade.
Yeah, that was during that weekend, wasn't it?
Yes.
I've had a couple of fish on them. Again, that period was just before I stopped fishing, really. So
yes, yeah. So I mean, I've got loads of these. For me, they're just absolute garfish munchers. Like they just they're so easy to cast. I mean, they cast like bullets, and then you just straight retrieve them basically, and because they've got that fluttering blade on the hook, the garfish just absolutely nail that.
I just remembered that mine is actually attached to a bit of kelp at Mullion Cove because I was trying for garfish for that reason.
Yeah, you and Mullion have got a bit of a funny relationship, haven't you?
Yeah, funny place that is.
Yeah, but that's they come in, if the Ignited Blades come in, so it's 5G, 7G, and 10G. They've got a pretty they sink quite nicely because they're front weighted, and then they've got some nice colours. They are in classic Little Jack fashion. They are beautiful looking and they're expensive. So they're like, I think the most expensive is £8.59 for a 10G. 7G is $8.39. So yeah, they're pricey, but they are lovely.
I feel like they'd be really good, like those off the beach when the Gurners are in, though, or when things get a bit more active, they'll be a lot of fun and quite effective.
Definitely,
with an extra bit of bling.
Yeah, and I think also you could definitely bump bottom with those quite easily because they're kind of nose weighted, so they would kind of come down a little bit. So I think as long as you're fishing over relatively clean ground, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, briefly want to talk about the Metal Addict 06, which is the Scad imitation, which is we've only got 10G on ours.
Yes.
Oh man, I mean, mackerel love that. That's almost like too good to cast. It's $6.49 as well, which actually ain't that bad for a 10G. Like that detail, Yeah,
it's amazing detail, isn't it?
Really nice quality. It's got quite a cool action as well. It's got a real wobble as it falls down, little shake down. It's really good.
Yeah.
And the Metal Addict 0, which is the one with they're similar shape to like a Zester afterburner, but they've got a little blade on the back and dual assists on the back.
Yeah.
But for me, I think they if we can't get Zester afterburners, I genuinely think they are the best option after that. I think they're like to fit in between the Jig Para regular and the Jig Para slim.
That's a good shout, that.
Yeah. For me, I think that's definitely the one. I think, I don't think you've really had a chance to fish with these as much because obviously you've been out of the game, but they are definitely worth looking at.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, again, a bit more expensive, though, obviously, but they are, again, each one is like perfectly molded to look like a little herring or a sprat.
Yeah.
And the colours are incredible. And most expensive is $8.59. I mean, the other is $8.39, $8.29 as well for the 5G. So yeah, they're more expensive, but they are lovely things. And fish over clean ground, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and they are just amazing quality, aren't they, to look at?
Yes, and the action is lovely on those. Really impressed with them. I need to try them with a assist on the head instead. I'm interested to see what that action would be like. But yeah, definitely want to experiment with this summer.
Definitely.
Have you had a go with the Magbite Chiramin? That's the one with the little blade on the back. Quite small, tiny little jigs.
Yeah.
2 little assists on the front.
I've played around with that at Exmouth for the little pollock and sand smelt. But I've not done a huge amount with it, but I caught some fish.
Yeah, they're funky little things because they're very small. I mean, they've got 1G. I think the biggest we've got is 3G. Colours are like kind of lots of glowy colours and stuff. I don't think I've done enough with them, really. I think they're ones that kind of I probably should just spend a bit more time. I mean, how many of those I need to try? But they're, definitely a funky one. I think they seem to sell pretty well because they're only $5.99 as well. So it's not too expensive.
Yeah, they're a nice little lure with that little spinner on the back. They certainly attracted the attention of the pollock and sand smelt that I was playing around with.
Yes, definitely they do that for sure.
And nice, like you say, they're 2 grams or something like that?
Yeah, 3G is the biggest. Yeah, 3, 2 and 1. So yeah, nice and small. Before I go on to there's nano aggies, which we both got very good experience with.
Yes.
Have you done much with the Magecraft Chinu blades?
Not a lot, no. No, I can't say I have, to be honest.
No, I feel like they're more of a me thing, these ones.
Yeah.
But, there was definitely a stage when I was obsessed with these. I really enjoyed them. They are they're a vibe. And I think I'm more of a vibe guy than you, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And they really do give a lot of vibration off. They're very front heavy and they're kind of designed to be bumped on the bottom. And I just saw them and went, that's Gernard for sure. 100%. And they've proven they've been great. And they actually, because they're so nose heavy and they've got a double hook on the back, they are quite good for fishing through cover. They're not actually, I've not snagged many. And
that's good.
Yeah, and I remember I had a nice pollock. Remember that pollock I had off Bricks and Breakwater that time? It was a big one amongst the rocks. And I think you netted for me. And that was on a blade. It's like that. It was really...
That's really cool.
Yeah, they're going to come in some crazy colours as well. I've had pike as well on them, but they're a really fun lure.
Makes sense. Yeah, they are a cool one to catch on, aren't they?
Definitely. And I think coming nearly to the end of this now, but the ones, these are definitely worth a bit of time because they've been so good to us over the years, but that's the Magecraft Nano Aggies.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
When they first came in and, you really embraced them, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. I think for me, because they appeal to they are basically everything that I love about Japanese LRF.
Yeah.
They're tiny. They come in the smallest one is 0.6 grams, which is absolutely minuscule.
Crazy.
The biggest ones are 5 gram, and they got a lovely little assist on them. They've got this cute little eye, and they come in funky colours and they glow, and the packaging's really nice. Yeah. I just think everything about them I love. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, they're very you, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think, and obviously they came with different things. They came with a trailing hook, which obviously I used a lot for using a bit of isom or something, bumping on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I just found the 0.6 was just such a good little species hunter of a metal.
Yeah, I know you caught a lot in the salt, but I remember you when we fished freshwater with them as well, and you were catching roach and other things like that. Just I don't know if it's the 0.6 or maybe the slightly heavier.
It was a 0.6. Yeah, it was 0.6, and because it is so small, and you've got the assist coming off. Now, what I quite like to do, little tip, I'm pretty sure I've spoken about it before, but if you combine the 0.6 with the decoy double assist, the micro double assist, I forget what they're called, the actual name. We've got them on the shop, but they're tiny. And they're very sharp.
A little clip on them, haven't they?
They have, yeah. And, if you replace the assist with those, that is the ultimate species hunting metal. They are just
nice because
they've got the double hook, which obviously helps because you get a lot of missed bites with microfish on metals.
Yeah.
So you get more hookups, and they're very, very sharp and very, very small hooks, so they're perfect for that. But
nice.
Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure I've caught on every single size of these and most colours. Yeah, they got quite the bigger ones have got quite a nice little wobble because they're flat on one side, round on the other, so they fall with this sort of side to side wobble. But yeah, I think they're just great. Love them.
They are great little men.
Yeah. You quite easily call them?
A little bits over here, but I actually found them really valuable abroad when I was getting my soft plastics chomped pieces by puffers and things. And they were really effective at not just puffers. I think I had a file fish on them. Obviously the other bits and pieces, ornate wrasse and rockfish and that. But they were quite handy when things are chomping your soft plastics, and they're a nice little sort of finesse metal to fish in those areas.
Yeah, very species. Cool. Yeah, and I think probably for anybody who's maybe recently got into LRF and hasn't really, because obviously most people have been into LRF, definitely bought a load of these when they first came out. But I think if anyone's recently got into it and hasn't had an opportunity to have a go with them, definitely have a go with these because they are really fun. And if you're using Ester line and things like that, the 0.6 is fantastic. If not, the 1G and the 1.5 will do just the same job. Really good.
Yeah, great shout.
I think the final ones, I mean, I'd love to talk about the Savage Gear flatline, but they're out of stock and never will be in stock again. Yeah. Devastated.
Yeah. Great man.
Savage Gear discontinued them. God, awful. But is them, I guess, probably another one you probably haven't used as much, actually, more of a me thing is, well, this is definitely my category here. I feel like soft plastics is yours. And the Magecraft nano rubbers, the almost like the Thai rubber style lures that are
yeah.
Kind of a funny one. I've done really well on these by adding a bit of a Shirazu on or something like that. Flounder, really like it. Nice. These are basically a shore copy of the Thai rubber technique, which is where they use quite a heavy weight with an eye on it, with trailing soft plastics, and normally 2 or 3 hooks with baits of either soft plastics or actual bait on for bream and stuff on the boat in Japan.
Yeah.
And obviously very popular in the Med as well. But these are kind of fun. They've got the 1.5 Gs, 2 Gs, up to 10, I think, we've got in the shop. They're probably a bit of an underused one, but they are good fun when you get them right. I think if you can just swap out the assist for just one single hook, they go really well with soft plastic for extra attention. Yeah,
that makes sense. That's something to play with, those.
Yeah, there's just, it's a funny thing going through our shop is you realise how many different lures there are and how many just worth a try,
Yeah. My only real experience with those is, again, I tried to use them out in Tenerife.
Oh, yeah.
And the puffers basically nipped off every appendage on those things and left me with nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just left it basically essentially a jig head.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. They are brutal, aren't they, those things?
They are, yeah. They can be frustrating, but
yeah, amazing. Well, we've obviously there's always new lures coming in all the time, and metal lures are definitely one that I get very excited about.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, it's good. And so if anyone has any questions about those, feel free to drop them us a message, or we're always happy to try and help and guide on those. Can be a little bit daunting sometimes looking at all that stuff, can't it?
It really can, yeah. There's so much to choose from, so many new, as you say, new stuff coming in all the time as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up. So we'll just we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Nice one.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
The Big Lerf Podcast, talking LRF and more.